Hello everybody, this is our first drawing together. The title says this is the summer season. Let's get started. Make sure that you have a paper, a pencil, and eraser. Maybe a pencil sharpener if you need it. Our paper will be laying down horizontally, not standing up vertically. I don't mind using pencils that are not very well sharpened. In this case, it's not well sharpened, but it still does the job and it still works very, very well. Now what we're going to try today is to draw very lightly, because whenever you are drawing dark and heavy, it's very hard for you to erase. But if you are drawing very lightly, any mistake that you are making, you will be able to erase and then try again. And that will lead to more happy drawings and less frustration. See the difference over here? At the top, it's just really hard to erase it. So let's just draw very lightly today. I'm going to make sure that as I'm copying the title, that the letters are not too big. If they are too big, then the whole title is not going to fit inside of the paper. Make sure that you are leaving a space between each of the letters, each of the words. And the first letter needs to be capitalized. Also, I capitalized the word summer, but I checked later on and the word summer does not have to be capitalized. So make sure that it's a lowercase letter S. Now that I'm done with the title, I have to draw a horizontal line above it to separate the drawing from the title. And I need to have enough space for my drawing, so make sure that you do that. You do not need a ruler for this. Just make sure that your paper is right in front of you, and then you draw this slowly. That way you can make sure that you are checking for mistakes. So now, this is going to be the best part, the kiddie pool. You might think that you have to draw a circle for it because we know that that pool should look like a circle, just like this cup. But since we are going to be looking at it a little bit from the side, we have to draw an oval. That way, when we draw the little person inside of it, it will look as if the person is inside of the pool. If it's from above, like a circle, then it's like we saw it from a drone or from a helicopter view. So we have to make sure that it's big enough. We have to draw big. It's easier to draw big. And it's way easier to color it when it's big. And I think it's going to take about maybe half of the paper. And I'm going to practice drawing the oval before I draw it very slowly in the size that I need it, and then I go ahead and draw it. Do not practice it very quickly, because then that's when we can make more mistakes. Now I'm drawing two lines that are going to tell me just how deep that pool is. And I am going to copy that curvy line, the bottom of that oval. I am going to copy that line at least 3 times. So it needs to be very round at the bottom, and I have to leave the same space between each of those lines. That way it looks like that pool was inflated. So I have to make sure that I leave the same space pretty much. That is my last one, but I want to show you what happens if you forget to draw it curvy and instead you draw it flat and straight. But the bottom needs to be round, just like the bottom of this cup that I'm showing you right now. The oval is round, and the bottom of the cup has to be round too. You don't want it to look like it's flat, as if you just cut it off. So make sure that you erase that. If that was you already checked your work. Make sure you check again, and make sure that the bottom is just as round as the top. Remember, you are drawing very lightly for this. Now I'm adding the inflatable part on the side. And right now you either have a kiddie pool or some really delicious pancakes. It really does look a bit like a stack of pancakes. So if you ever feel like drawing that, there you go. This is another great way of drawing a delicious stack of pancakes. All you're missing now is the butter. So now with my eraser, I'm going to erase right where I'm going to draw the kid. And of course you can always draw one or two, but for now I want it to be simple and I want it to be easy, and drawing one person is always easier than two. I start out with the letter U. It's a little bit spread out because that letter U, you will be using it for the face. The eyes are closed because this person, this kid, is going to be splashing about. And of course, when you are splashing about, you don't have your eyes open. They are closed and you're still having fun. Next to each eye, you have to draw the ears. So make sure that they are right there next to the eyes. Do not forget to draw eyebrows and the top of the head. Before you buy shoes, you have to make sure that you know your shoe size. And before you draw the hair, you have to know the size of the head. That's why I'm drawing it right now. So if you want to draw a kid that has very, very short hair, right now it's looking perfect. But I'm going to give this person a little bit more hair. Also, when you are at the pool, you don't really have amazing, gorgeous, beautiful hair. It's a little bit messy, it's all wet, and it's all everywhere. So that's what I'm doing. I am drawing it around that circular top of the head that I drew. There we go. Okay, so now I can compare it to my other drawing. Check my work. It's looking like a human person. So if yours looks like an alien, if it looks like a rock, if it looks like a frog, a dog, or a cat, you definitely did it wrong. You have to erase it. Now I'm drawing the body, and the body is directly below his head. And then you can connect the body to the arms. And I'm making sure that I am drawing 5 fingers. This is a very easy way to draw hands. Just go ahead and draw them. Also, check for the arms, because sometimes we can draw one arm longer or wider than the other. And so we have to make sure that we are checking our work, because sometimes we're too quick to be working that we are not checking until we are finished. And your brain will be telling you something along the lines of, this is all wrong. There's something going on. So make sure that you are checking your work. Now I'm completing the parts that I had erased before. They do not need to be perfect. You just make sure that you complete them and that everything is still checking out. You still have the main idea. It's a person in a pool. Now I am going to draw a couple of wavy lines. Wave, 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 and then I can draw a drop of water, because this kid, we know he's splashing about, so the water is not going to be stable. The water is going to be moving around. I can draw the letter U for the drops of water, and then I draw the tip of it. So again, it's a letter U, and then I make those last 2 lines very, very pointy, I think. If it helps you to draw this upside down, and then go ahead and twist the paper, but then make sure that you put it back the other way around so that it's facing straight towards you. I think I'm going to draw another one. Yeah, floating right up there. Much better. Now I'm checking to make sure that I'm drawing that little water hose, and it is horizontal. You have to draw 2 lines, because remember, it's like a really long rectangle and then a very, very short rectangle at the top. You do not really want to draw a couple of lines, very, very tiny lines. Like, you really want this splash to be big. So you have to make sure that you draw those lines going way taller than the kid, way higher. and they fan out. They are very tight coming out of the hose, and then they spread out. And I'm going to draw droplets, but I'm leaving a space between them. And I find that if the droplets are really big, then it's going to be easier to color, because if you have really, really tiny circles or droplets, it's going to be a pain to color. So make sure that they are big and that they have spaces between them. And that should make it pretty much organized, but it will also make it look pretty cool. But it's an option for you. That's what I have found, that again, it's just easier to color when things are really big. That way people can recognize it. Okay, so remember that if you are copying from another drawing, you always have to go back and check. Now I have to draw a zigzag line. It's going to be in the middle of the paper. Zigzag, 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 zig. And then I add a couple of zigzag lines wherever you have bigger spaces. Like in this case, I added them somewhere else. So if your zigzag lines end up somewhere else, that is fine. That is fine. Now we have to draw the fence, and I have to draw a really tall and long rectangle. And then, I have to check, make sure that the space at the top is more or less the same on the left and on the right side. So now I divide it into longer rectangles. And then I have to make sure that they are all, each one of them, about the same size. Every time you look at a fence, they usually have about the same size, each one of those sections. So make sure that you are checking your work so that it looks like a pattern. Now they are pointy at the top, so between every two dots, I'm going to put a dot in the middle. And then I connect them as if it was a triangle. Between two dots, one in the middle. And then you connect them. I wouldn't worry so much about erasing all of those lines, because on the next video I'm going to show you how to erase it without destroying the whole drawing, or without erasing all the other things that you did want to keep. Now I need those two mountains. Remember that the mountains have to be round at the top. I practice for drawing the sun. Not so big, not so quickly, slowly, and then I go ahead and draw it. So make sure that you are drawing those triangles around the circle. Take your time. Make sure that they are about the same size. If you want to make the sun just a little bit more round, you can work on it just a little bit, but don't try to make it perfect. And then continue adding each one of those. Just make sure that you are taking your time. That way you don't make as many mistakes. Now at the middle of the face, the middle of the circle, that's where I am going to draw the eyes. And then the mouth will be on the bottom half of the circle. 1 and 2 eyes, and then the smile. Okay, everybody, see you next time.